Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This week's video is going to be a pretty cozy one because I am going to talk about books. Don't know if you know that about me, but I do love to read, and when I was a child I read like 4 or 5 books per month. So I really love to read, and because right now I can't really do much. I had foot surgery 3 weeks ago, I think, and ever since I had to stay in bed and rest my foot. So that's why I actually read a lot more than in the past few months, and I went through almost 5 books. I read 4 books, and the 5th one I'm like 2/3 done with, I think. So I've got 3 romantic novels, which I love a good romance, and I've been really obsessed with romantic novels that include some kind of bakery or food thing. So if the owner has like a small little bakery or something, I love it. I love this kind of topic right now because it's just really heartwarming, cozy, just feel good vibes. I love it. So I'm currently really obsessed with that. And the other 2 books I want to mention are more self-development books and self-help. I have gotten into self-development books about 2 years ago, I think, and I do like them a lot just because they really motivate me. I read the book and I feel this urge to do something and to become a better version of myself, and even this little impulse is something I just think is so valuable and I believe has made me a better person. So there you go, I've got 3 fun books and 2 self-development books. So let's get right into this video. So the first book I want to talk about is Lades von Sommerset, which is a German book. It's been written by Julie Marsh. I'm not sure if there's an English version out there because I think it was written in Germany, by Köln. So yeah, I don't think there's an English version, but I still wanted to talk about it. This is like really Bridgerton vibes. If you've seen the series on Netflix, I think a lot of people have. So it's cast in the past, and there's a love story, lords and ladies, and a little bit of Jane Austen in there as well. The main character is called Emma, and she is a really strong, independent woman for that time because she wants to write her own theatre plays and wants to be like a big author. But there are a lot of drama and troubles because I think her uncle, where she's living at, loses his money and goes into jail, and she has to find a job, which she never had to do. And then there's that arrogant guy. There's a lot of drama. I do have to say, to be honest, this was not my favorite read. It was enjoyable. I did like it, but I didn't like the ending, and I didn't really like the love story, to be honest. It was a nice read. I wouldn't read it again. I love rereading books, but I of course just reread the books that I really enjoyed, and this one I don't think I would reread. So yeah, unfortunately not my favourite read, but an enjoyable one nonetheless. So the next book I want to talk about is Meet Me at the Cupcake Cafe by Jenny Colgan. I love books from Jenny Colgan. I've read quite a few of them. This book is a guilty pleasure book because it is about a bakery. So it's a young woman who loses her job and wants to start new. She always loved to bake, so she actually opens her own bakery, and there are a lot of challenges, but she just really puts her heart into this bakery shop. And of course there's a love story, which, as with the first one, I was not overly keen on. So in this one she is like standing between 2 guys and doesn't really know where she should go, and one of them is a real asshole, which I hate, and I was so angry sometimes reading this book. But yeah, I think that's what's throwing me off, because I don't like when the main character is like drawn to 2 guys and not sure which one to pick. I prefer it when there's just one guy who she falls in love with, but I mean, that's personal preference. Otherwise, the book is really nicely written. It's really easy to read. I think I read through this book in like 2 days, so it's really funny, and it's really like, it draws you in, it paints the picture, and you're in this little bakery world and feel with the main character. So I did really enjoy it, and I do think I will read it again. I just liked the whole vibe, I think. Oh, actually, I could give the books a rating. That could be fun. So let's do like a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. So I think the first book that I talked about, I would actually give a 3. It was good, it was enjoyable, but like not good enough that I would want to read it again. So I think a 3 is good. And this one I would give a 4. Not a 5, it wasn't my favorite read of all time, but I would read it again. So this is a 4 for me. All right, and the last romantic novel I want to talk about is Glitter by Abby Glynis. This is the German version, so it says Ashington. And this again is like a real Bridgerton vibe, Jane Austen book. Right now, a lot of books have this kind of topic just because of the Bridgerton series, and I don't mind. I really like it. I love Jane Austen. One of my favorite books is Pride and Prejudice. I really enjoy that book, so I'm not mad about this new kind of book topic emerging. This book is about a young woman who is looking to marry a rich husband to help her sister and her mother. They don't have that much money, so that's why she needs to marry a wealthy man, but she doesn't really want to. So then there are 2 brothers. They hate each other, and one of them is trying to get married, and his brother wants to destroy him, so he's trying to prevent that marriage from happening. And it is a fun, very easy, very simple plot. Nothing overly special, but enjoyable to read. The one thing I didn't quite like about this book is I feel like the story would have needed more room. Everything happened too fast, and this book has, the book has 280 pages, and I feel like it could have done with another 100. Just because the story needed more time to develop. It was a bit rushed in the end, which I was a bit sad about, because I really did like it. I like how it was written. I just didn't like the pace of the story. I would have liked a little more scenes and a little more conversation with the main characters, so that it made a bit more sense to me that they fell in love. I would rate this book as a 3.5, just because I think I like the bakery book a little tiny bit better, but I would reread this book when I have a very cozy afternoon with rain pouring down. I think this would be a very comfy read. So yeah, that's my rating for that one. Okay, let's talk about self-development books, and the first one I want to show you is Calm Your Thoughts by Nick Trenton. So normally when I get self-development books, I do like to read up on them beforehand and watch a bunch of reviews just to see if this book really is the thing that I'm looking for. But with this one, I actually just picked it up when I got all of the other books. What it says is how to stop overthinking, stop stressing, stop spiraling, and start living, which is something that I really do need. I'm the kind of person that will overthink everything and get worried so quickly, and I do feel that this prevents me from living my best life. So I thought this would be the perfect book for stopping to overthink, basically. And it says on the back, stop letting negativity drain all of your energy, leaving you unable to see the brighter side of life. A noisy brain is the biggest cause of unhappiness. It prevents us from seeing what possibilities lie before us. Life turns into a minefield rather than a set of new opportunities. Let's change this right now. It does say a lot more on the back, but I'm just reading that to you. And the nice thing is this author, you really feel that he knows what he's talking about because he's been through the same thing. So in the beginning, he says that he had a lot of anxiety when he was younger and he was really struggling with all of that stuff. And that just makes this book so much more believable, in my opinion. This book is really easy to read. Normally with self-help books, I need a lot of time to read them. But with this one, somehow I didn't have that problem. Maybe because it's really personal to me and I kind of connected with what was said in this book because I had a lot of the same problems and feelings, or I have them. And maybe that kind of helped me to go through this book and be really sucked into it. Basically, it just gives you a lot of tips how you can overcome overthinking, anxiety, worrying. I am going to go through this book again. This is what I usually do with self-help books. I read through them once, and the second time I go through it, I'm just marking all of the important things that I think are very helpful. And when I go through it the next time, I usually just have a look at the marked sentences because that makes it a lot quicker. What I did really like about this book is, number one, how easy it was to read, and number two, after every chapter, he actually made like a short summary of the previous chapter just to break down the most important points, and I really did appreciate that. So if I want to come back in the past, I can actually just read the summary and I'm good to go. That's something I very much liked about this book. And if I have to say something negative or criticize something, I think this book would have been even better if there were a few more examples given. So normally self-help books have a lot of examples and stories. Most of the time a few too much for my liking, but this one I think would have actually been even better if there were just a few more examples given, just to get and catch the ideas of the author a bit better. Would I read it again? Yes, I would. I definitely would, just to get all of the most important points out of it. I would probably give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This book is very simple, very easy to grasp, and I do appreciate that about this book, but I do believe there are even better books out there. That's why I'm giving it a 4. And lastly, I want to talk about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I think this book is pretty popular. I've seen it in a video, so that's why I actually bought it. This is an updated version because the book itself is actually pretty old, and they just included a few more up-to-date examples and stories because a lot of the examples given were pretty old, and yeah, they just included a few more current ones. As it says in the title, this book is about growing rich, but I do believe the principles that are listed in this book are not only for growing rich. I think you can apply them to every kind of topic you would want to. If, let's say, you want to buy a house or you want to create your dream career, stuff like that. I think you can apply the principles to all of these things. What I really like about this book is I do believe that the ratio of examples and principles is very nice in this book, so I don't feel like there are too many examples given. I think it's just the right amount. I had problems reading it. I haven't finished it yet. This is the only book I haven't finished yet. I think I'm on page 180 or something, so I've got like 1/3 left of the book, but I have been struggling focusing on this book. So whenever I read, my mind was just wandering off, which made it very hard to read it because I think it's really good. I think the things mentioned in this book and the principles are really helpful, but somehow I just couldn't get my mind to focus on it. I don't know why, but that doesn't mean this is a bad book. I think on the contrary, it's a really good one and a really insightful one, and I am very much looking forward to rereading it and hopefully just focusing a bit more on the content. So if I have to rate this book, I would give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's a really good book, but I personally struggle with reading it. The rating is my personal opinion, of course. You can have a totally different way of thinking about this book, and I'm totally fine with it. I would recommend it. I would also reread it I'm just struggling a bit with this book. Alright guys, so this was my video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. I've never done a book review before, so let's see if you like it or not. I just wanted to show you a different side of me, and right now my life is a bit different than it normally is, so I just wanted to make content that portrays my actual lifestyle right now. I hope you liked it. If you did, please do leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would be incredibly grateful. I hope you're going to have a lovely week. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you for next week's video. Goodbye.